Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Professor Kenneth Wong, and I direct the Urban Education Policy Program at Brown University. And welcome to this webinar. And around the table, I have the Assistant Director of Graduate Program in the department in Nebraska, and also Ariel Neumann, who is our graduate assistant. And I'd like them to introduce themselves as well.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ann Nebraska. I am the Assistant Director of Graduate Programs for the Education Department, and I will be your point person for all questions regarding your application, acceptance, and financial aid packages.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ariel Neumann, and I am the current graduate assistant here for the Education Department. I'm also a Urban Education Policy Program and Student Ambassador, so I can answer any questions that you may have about student experience.
Okay, let me just say a few words about how unique our program is. When you look at a lot of master's programs around the country, ours have certain features that other programs may not have. Number one, we have a very small cohort of students. We usually admit about 25 to 30 students, and they learn as a group, and we make sure that everybody work as a team as well. Feature number two is that we have a very strong interdisciplinary, holistic approach to learning. So we bring in disciplinary-based knowledge, of course, but at the same time, we also bring in the field of practice. We have a very strong partnership with Annenberg Institute, who is a very, very strong in terms of field of practice. And feature number three is that we have a 9-month internship program, and all our students are doing exciting work in different capacities, including the mayor's office around the country, school superintendent's office, the state commissioner's office, of course, in the state of Rhode Island. And we also have a very thoughtful, well-balanced, focused summer semester where all the new students learn to work as a group and also provide some needed research to support our client organizations in the local community. And finally, a lot of our professors as well as partner organizations have all kinds of research and policy development opportunities for our UEP students. So if you're interested in learning additional skills and getting experience in different settings, we actually encourage our students to explore those kind of additional opportunities. And next, I think Ann Nebraska is going to share with you some of the program benefits.
Okay, great. So first, our national partnerships. So the Ed Department is proud to partner with national, regional, and local organizations for the benefit of providing post-service graduate degree opportunities to their alumni. For example, both Teach for America and City Year alumni qualify for an application fee waiver and a guaranteed scholarship of at least 25% of total tuition cost. However, based on the merit of their application, some applicants are awarded more generous scholarships. Other official and unofficial partners of the Education Department at Brown are Breakthrough Collaborative, America organizations such as the Peace Corps, and the Posse Foundation. Partnerships are a creative means to building communities for like-minded individuals and organizations that are ready to take on today's most socially pressing issues. Next, I'm going to talk about scholarships. For the class of 2017, 85% of our admitted students were offered some form of scholarship assistance. Scholarships are based on the merit of the application and are awarded at the time of admission. The average scholarship for this same year is $19,000. Due to the fact that the Education Department at Brown does not offer the PhD degree, our master's students are the main recipients of paid research assistantships, teaching assistantship, and graduate assistantships with faculty and staff. The department also offers a limited number of urban education fellowships each year. The full tuition award in the form of loan forgiveness comes with the condition of service to the Rhode Island Urban Corps for a 3-year period after graduation. A supplementary 300-word essay is required to be considered for this fellowship. This prompt can be found on our website at www.brown.edu/education. And finally, our national network. The UEP network is made up of approximately 250 passionate alumni spread across the nation as change agents. They hold leadership positions in nonprofit organizations, federal and local government agencies, and school districts. They are an active group connecting on a regular basis with the program's faculty, other alumni, and current students regarding current research and employment opportunities.
And as I mentioned earlier, we have a very unique partnership with one of the most recognized and respected reform organization, the Annenberg Institute, as part of our UEP program. And all the students are taking classes during the summer from 4 practitioners, faculty of the practice from the Annenberg Institute. In addition, the Annenberg Institute provides research assistantships to somewhere between 6 to 10 of our UEP students throughout the year, and they will be centrally situated to participate in a lot of national networking activities, as well as other project-based activities. And next, I think Ariel is going to share with you her experience with regard to the summer term.
So as Professor Wong already commented on, we do have a summer practicum term, which is very unique to the UEP program. And it consists of 2 different classes that you take from current Annenberg researchers. And they teach one on theory and kind of the background behind a lot of the policies that have driven the education field up to this point. And then they also have a methods course, which kind of gives you some insight into quantitative research methods as well as qualitative research methods. There's also a huge portion of the summer that's put towards consulting with a local education organization. And so you'll be given either a problem that they have or maybe some type of research that they're really trying to look into, and you'll be put in charge with a group of 2 to 3 of your fellow peers, and you'll do research for them and actually compile a huge research project for them. At the end of the summer, you present this to them as well as a lot of the Annenberg staff, which is really invaluable insight and skills that you gain not only into how to do research, but also how to talk with and communicate with those in the education field. You can see on the right-hand side some of our summer partners for the organizations that we did this past summer. There's Young Voices, the Providence Student Union, which are both student-led organizations, and they focus really on student empowerment and trying to promote some of their ideals in schools and what they really want. So then also we have the Highlander Institute, which a lot of UEPs either have interned for, which we will get into a little bit later, or they do research for them throughout the year. So the Highlander Institute is highly quantitative organization, and they really look into, right now at least, their research is looking into blended learning classrooms, which is really interesting, and we got to get some good insight on their promotion of this. Finally, we have the Providence Public School District, Rhode Island Department of Education, and then Annenberg Institute itself, where some members were doing research for some of their projects they have currently going on. And those projects could either be locally, but then there was also a project that was happening in LA School District, or the LA Unified School District, rather. And they were able to look into charters and how they've actually been affecting the district. So to give you a slightly more insight to the summer practicum and what you may be doing, I worked over the summer for the Young Voices, which was the first organization that I mentioned, and we were looking into restorative justice and how we could best get that implemented in the surrounding districts. And we went in and we looked nationally, my apologies, and we looked at different school districts as well as reform organizations that have worked towards promoting restorative justice practices within schools, which is an alternative to a more punitive behavioral system. And we were able to collect information, conduct interviews, and then qualitatively code this information to give research insights to Young Voices on how to best promote this and also to potentially bring it to the state level, since it is only seen at a district level at this point. Another group who's featured on this slide worked for Lumina, which was through the Annenberg Research Institute. And what they did is they really looked into whether or not there was a increase for ESSA, if there was looking into that legislation and really trying to see whether or not they would be able to reach the goals of ESSA. And so this is just some insight. Some of them are more quantitatively driven, like I said. So for the Highlander Institute, they were promoting blended learning, but using a rubric, and then analyzing the data from the rubric usage within the classrooms to identify what the best type of rubric is to actually identify blended learning practices that are successful and those that are not.
So Ariel just went through the degree of student engagement and student agency and ownership in our program. So at the same time, we want all our students to experience a common set of experience and also skill development. And so we have 7 core courses in addition to 1 elective, a couple of electives for those of you who are coming from outside Brown University. And so basically the core classes covers the range of analytical skills as well as discipline-based knowledge such as political science or economics, as well as field-based practice. The 2 required courses, for example, during the summer, and as Ariel mentioned, they are heavily geared toward thinking about the utilization of knowledge and tools to support work in the trenches, like Young Voices and so on. And so what we have developed as core courses is that we want every student who graduates from the UEP program to be able to have the core competencies to be hired as professionals and as change agent in challenging systems. It could be at the state level, at the federal level, at the local, or even at the school level. And so, for example, some of our graduates are now directing the Highlander Institute, which is really pushing hard for blended learning, as well as supporting teachers in that area. And other alums are actually leading some of the major programs in Boston and Washington, D.C. and New York City, from early childhood into all the way to post-secondary learning and career development. And the reason why they are able to do it is because of the way that we structure the core classes. Now, having said that, I also want to emphasize that within the core courses, individual students also have their own way to articulate their interests. So they could actually use those skill sets to address their individual interests. And next, I think Anne is going to mention a few examples of our signature internship programs.
Right. So thank you, Ken. The signature component of the UEP program is the academic year 9-month internship. Students are required to fulfill 250 hours as a practitioner in training. Internships can be on-site or arranged remotely with the host organization. Internship experiences should be at sites that are appropriate to one's ultimate career goals, immediate career aspirations, or both. UEP students will want to work closely with the academic specialist as well as UEP faculty to choose an internship site. Carefully consider again your professional goals, interests, needs, and expectations for your internship experiences. If a UEP student should commit to multiple internship sites, which has happened in the past, each site should reflect a diversity of experiences with different agencies and activities whenever possible. UEP students can secure their own internship experience, or they can choose from a list of organizations that are provided by our program. All internship sites must meet the approval of the academic specialist and the director of the UEP program.
So as you can see, there's a myriad of different types of internships that one can take. These are some of the logos from the current internships that our cohort has. And I am actually interning remotely, which is an option, where I'm working in Chicago Public Schools in the Office of Social and Emotional Learning, particularly working on a project with their evaluation of the implementation of restorative justice district-wide. So I've been helping them to create rubrics, observation tools that go along with those rubrics, as well as questionnaires. And once those are actually rolled out, I will then, in the spring, be analyzing that data and seeing the impact as much as possible from that data collected from the rubrics and evaluation system. So there are so many different options that you have. You can stay locally, like the Highlander Institute or Blackstone Valley Prep, but then you can also go nationally, like I did with Chicago Public Schools or with City Year. So it's really up to you and really honing what you want your internship to provide for you. And a lot of the time, it's a great way for you to move forward with your career plans. And now we have a short video of Melanie Bowdish, who is currently in the UEP cohort, and she has an internship with Farm Fresh Rhode Island.
Hi, my name is Melanie Bowdish. I'm completing my internship with Farm Fresh Rhode Island in a project called Harvest Kitchen that's in partnership with DCYF. So we work with youth ages 16 to 19 that are on probation or parole, providing them with really essential job training or job experiences and some hands-on experience in the kitchen. I'm helping the program to increase their data management system so that we can look at longer-term outcomes of the trainees that have been through the program. So by increasing the data management practice and being able to produce robust outcomes, we are accessing additional funding and looking at other programs throughout the United States that have similar goals and how they've been effective in increasing data management practice. So the second phase of the internship, I will be looking at the Newport and Nicollet Island community and how a program like Harvest Kitchen can be developed to address the needs of that community.
Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, so what's next? So we hope that you have enjoyed this webinar and have found it informational. And we hope now that you will seriously consider applying to the UEP program. So what do you need? So first of all, you need to begin your online application through CollegeNet, which can be accessed through Brown University's graduate school website. You will then need 3 letters of recommendation. Each letter of recommendation should address a different aspect or your experience for the committee. We will need transcripts from all institutions of higher education that you've attended. We will then need your GRE general test scores, and we recommend that those scores are submitted to us by December 31st. And then finally, there is the personal statement, which is 1 to 2 pages, single-spaced. I want to stress that the personal statement is probably the most important component of your application, and the type of things that you need to be thinking about and be very specific about your personal statement are why do you want to study urban education policy? Next, what experience do you have in the field that you will bring to the cohort? And then what you know about the program. Have you done some homework about the program as well? Some of the faculty and some of the coursework as well. And then what is your plan for your degree once you have it? So again, we hope you'll seriously consider applying and being in touch with us if you have any questions about the application process. So again, thank you for participating in our webinar. We now have a few minutes to take some questions from anybody who may have some questions for Professor Wong or Ariel or myself.
And we'll give you a few minutes to type those in so that we can sift through and see what we can provide you more information on. So we do have a question that just came in, and it's asking about time management as a student and how you really juggle not only the full course load, but the internship plus a possible position with either what I do as the graduate assistant or research assistantship, which is an option at Annenberg, or any other type of job that you might get on the side. And this is a great question. I definitely have to juggle a lot of things, and for me, it's all about time management. I do work close to 20 hours a week, but then are taking both core classes plus an elective, and doing my internship 10 hours a week. And what I really found was the most helpful, besides time management and really focusing on what I have to do and pacing myself throughout the week, because you do only have classes, or the one class once a week. So once the rest of the week kind of comes, I can then get through either internship things that I have, since it is remote. So that was very helpful. I don't actually have to go into an office. And so I can do the work at my own pace, on my own time, and just have deadlines for myself. So it's really not overwhelming. It is a lot of work, but it's definitely manageable, and you are able to either get help on the side. There are sections and things like that, because some of the courses are a little bit more difficult in the fall, so you can definitely get assistance in that area if you are feeling pressure from the classes and things like that. So again, just time management is key, and really pacing yourself. Now we have a question about the application.
Okay.
Here is the question.
Yes, so when completing my online application, the forms specify that the personal statement has to be 3 to 5 pages, double-spaced. I stuck to those instructions. Will that be a problem? No. To answer that question, it will not be a problem. So it ends up being the same amount, either 1 to 2 pages single-spaced or 2 to 4 pages double-spaced. If you've gone over that, it's not a problem. But thank you for asking that, and I hope that clarified that for you.
We also have another question discussing the remote internship that I just kind of talked about for a little bit, and whether this was me laying groundwork to move to a different city after graduation for my career, or if it just aligned with my previous research that I had done over the summer with the practicum. And for me, it kind of, everything fell into place quite beautifully. I used to live in Chicago, and so I did have some networking there already, but I was also extremely passionate about behavioral systems and possibly wanted to go back to Chicago after this year. So for me, the woman who's my current supervisor in Chicago was actually someone that I interviewed over the summer for my research for the practicum site here. So once I interviewed her and sent her the transcript of our discussion and interview, she was asking me to please keep in contact because she knows it's very valuable to have as much research on this topic as possible. And so I knew I also needed an internship. So we emailed back and forth, and I was able to make my own internship in a way out of this program and evaluation system, which is an option. There are already pre-established relationships that you can go to that other UEPs have had in the past for your internships. But then you can also choose to make a new one like I did. It's a little bit more work, and it takes a little bit more, I guess, motivation to get it actually created, but it's well worthwhile, and I'm absolutely loving doing it remotely.
We have one question about, Fulbright nominees or some other fellowship nominees, and how that might align with the UEP timeline. In general, we have done either way. That is, we've got applicants who actually receive a grant or an award for Fulbright and other fellowship, and they might want to finish their Fulbright first and then come to UEP. Or they could actually, we have a couple of cases where they finish the UEP first and then go to take on the additional opportunities in Fulbright and other fellowship. So it's a case by case, and I would be more than happy to sit down with you and to go through what some of the best, pathways for you to build your professional career. And we are all very supportive of young people like you who are interested in pursuing, broader, aspirations and broader career path. And so it's a case by case, and we are quite flexible in terms of thinking through that these kind of opportunities with you.
Okay, and we have another additional question. It says, I am in my last year of undergrad right now and was wondering how important it is to have significant work policy experience before coming to the program. Our cohort is incredibly diverse. We have people who come straight from undergraduate. They have done things during their undergraduate years. They've been involved with community-based organizations on campus or off campus. They've been involved during the summer with different organizations or placements or internships that they can then address that experience during the cohort and during conversations during the summer and in classes, so they are contributing that way. We have career changers, people who have had another experience, whether it been in banking or housing, different things like that, and then they come, and then we have people who have done Teach for America or City or other types of nonprofit work as well. So it's a very diverse cohort. We really look at each application on its own holistically. We don't compare. We don't take just a number of certain undergraduates or a number of mid-career changers. And it does seem to really work out very well each year that the cohort is very diverse, and people are bringing their own experiences and contributions to the table.
Yeah, and I can build on that slightly. So I had only worked for a year with City Year prior to coming to the UEP program, although I had obviously done my own research extensively on the side. And for me, I love the diversity of not only experience, but backgrounds, ethnically, racially, age-wise. There are people who are, like Ann said, fifth-year students coming right out of undergraduate, but then there are also people who've been working in higher education for 18 years. So you really get different perspectives within the classes themselves. So we also have Teach for America teachers that are currently in the classrooms. So they give us really good insights and kind of bridging that gap that sometimes gets wedged between policymakers and teachers. And so we can really take as much of their insights that they have in the classrooms and apply that to how we're thinking about creating policies.
And we also have very broad regional representation. We have students from all the way from California. We have a student from India, a student from China, and we've got obviously students along the East Coast, but we also have students from Chicago, Midwest, as well as from the South. So we are truly a national program, even though we only have 25 to 30 students. And so I encourage all of you to think about the dimensions of diversity in our program.
Well, great. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us today. Again, if you have any questions, this is Ann Nebraska. Please feel free to reach out to me for any questions, again, about the application process. And then I highly encourage you to reach out to Ariel, who is the grad assistant for admission, but also one of our student ambassadors. Ariel actually holds live chats every Thursday, and those times can be found on our website as well, but she's also willing to talk one-on-one with anybody on the telephone or through email, whatever best suits you, so that you can get all the information that you need to make a very informative decision. And thank you again for joining us today. I'm going to let Ken sign off.
And thank you all for your interest. And I know that you still have a lot of questions, as Ann said and Ariel said. We are here to provide you with whatever concerns, questions, issues that you want to raise. And very grateful that you're spending an hour with us today. Thank you.